Hi magical folks and witches. I wanted to talk today with you. I need to say a few things today about the community and the way things are shaping up in the world, and just some things that are coming up that I think it's really important to discuss as witches and magical people, pagans in this community, spiritual community, that I think are really important to talk about. So I'm going to speak for a little bit on that today. If you would like to listen, then I suppose pull up a chair, get yourself a nice hot drink, settle back, relax and enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I wanted to share some feelings, some thoughts that have been coming up for me in recent days, weeks, months, because of some of the things that are bubbling up under the surface, or I suppose bubbling away in the cauldron that is the witchcraft, pagan, occult, spiritual community soup that we are in, and all of the different traditions and practices that are combined within that, and some of the things that are coming up. So it's no secret, obviously, that we are in a kind of global crisis point right now. Everybody knows this, and a lot of witches, including myself, have been talking about certain things going on in the world right now that we are not happy about, and we're not happy to sit back and ignore. So we are talking openly about the that are happening in the world. We are talking about the attack and marginalisation of minority groups, and essentially just a lot of people are having their rights stripped from them in many parts of the world. The USA is a massive part of this, the UK is a massive part of this, and politics has come up in a number of conversations around witchcraft. And so it's just sort of feeling like the last couple of weeks, months, there has been a bit of a pushback from certain members of the community where people are kind of slowly coming out of the woodwork and seem to be getting their knickers in a twist about the fact that there are witches like me, people in our community who are standing up and talking about these things and saying what we believe is right, standing up for innocent lives essentially, and innocent people, people who should be protected, and people who have just as much right to live and be treated with respect as anybody else. And yet the right-wing fascist regime that is in power right now is taking rights away from many people, many folks. Okay, so I'm a white, cisgendered, heteronormative presenting woman living in England. I am very privileged. I know this. I have in the last 2 years been diagnosed with 2 chronic illnesses, and I believe I am also on the spectrum, but I am very privileged in my position. So I'm coming from a place of privilege, and I recognise that, and I recognise that it's not easy for everyone to speak out, and that in many places you're not able to just reveal yourself on the internet as who you are and speak out openly like this. But I have been working with the Morrigan for a number of years, and some of the work that she has demanded from me is this work, this work, because this is, I believe, why I have a small community platform here on YouTube, so that I can speak to important issues like this, because I believe that it's important to raise our voices so that we are heard, so that we can put pressure on our governments, so that we can make the change in the world that we want to see. So really, like, I have a lot of thoughts and points, and I wanted to write it all out and it be concise and, you know, straight to the point and everything, but my brain is not going to let me do that. I'm very tired. I've been in a flare-up. I've not been very well. I, you know, have very kind of squirrely brain, so that's not going to work. But I did decide, spur of the moment, to post something yesterday on my Instagram, and I think because it was so long, I wasn't able to put many hashtags in, apart from in the comments, and I don't think that it really got seen by many people. I used an amazing image from the craft. I will put a link to the post so you can go and see it. But essentially, I'm going to expand upon it here anyway. I feel like I've talked about this in a number of videos. I've talked about how I believe witchcraft is political, and let's just put a pin in that, because we're going to come back to that, because witchcraft is political. Whether or not your practice is political, witchcraft itself is political. Let's come back to that. I've made a few videos about that. I've made a few videos about Palestine. I've made a video recently where I actually talk about several examples of content creators where I've seen them trying to get their audience to not talk about Palestine, to not engage with the worldly events that are horrific, and instead just to focus on love and light kind of vibes, and how I feel that this is so gross and wrong. I spoke about that at length on that video, and I would urge you to go check that out. Also, Activist Witch has done so many videos, as I'm sure you'll know if you're here, and a number of videos about how witchcraft is political as well. And then Kellyanne Maddox did a recent video, and I was pretty shocked to see it actually, because I missed what had happened, but there are a number of large witchcraft content creators who are also on this kind of mission to try to get their audiences to sort of avoid talking about these horrific things, and Kellyanne Maddox was shining a light on that. I don't know who some of these creators are who are doing this, but I have seen a number of creators in the last couple of weeks actually coming out of the woodwork, and the manner of a few of these videos and posts is not very nice. It's very much like witchcraft isn't political, occultism isn't political, all these witches telling you what to do online, don't listen to them. And I just have to say, you know, there's something about this that is very much like, wah, I'm throwing my toys out the pram because there are other witches that disagree with me. And it's like, really? Are you really that surprised that there are witches on social media saying it's wrong what's happening in Palestine, it's wrong what's happening in all of these places where terrible violence and is occurring? I would like to say that just assuming that everyone who is on the left is so extreme by saying, can we please just look over here at all the children who are dying and starving to death because Israel is not letting food and aid into Palestine? Can we please look at the lynchings? Can we please look at the school shootings? Can we please look at these other people instead of taking one person, putting them up on a pedestal as if they're some kind of like god of the right fascist regime? I mean, I don't condone violence to anyone, but this is just ridiculous. I just wish that the same energy would be put towards the causes where actual innocent children and people in marginalised communities are being brutally executed in these ways. I mean, lynchings, what? I don't understand why some of these witches are so up in their feels about what other witches believe. Like, okay, your witchcraft doesn't have to be political, but a lot of other people disagree with you because what's happening in the world right now is really awful. And I just have to say that I think, you know, you sound a little bit like a toddler, to be honest. I just think as well, not only am I shocked that they are surprised that witches like me are saying, no, trans rights are human rights. No, we're not going to stand for genocide. No, like, we're going to stand up against these things. We're going to stand up for human rights. We're going to stand up for human rights. I don't understand why other witches are so shocked that we're doing that. Also, going back to the witchcraft is political thing that we put the pin in, your practice might not be political. That's down to you, okay, because free speech and all of that, you're entitled to believe what you want. But I would just urge you to think about really what you believe, because I think you'll find yourself kind of coming up against a point where your beliefs are contradictory if you are upholding a racist, fascist, right-wing, homophobic, transphobic regime, government. I would urge you to really reconsider what your beliefs are, because I think you're going to find that a lot of them are contradictory if you're actually saying, no, I'm right-wing. Because also, if you're a witch, you're one of those marginalised people and they are going to come for you. This is, I think, what the title is going to be of this video, because the fight is probably going to come to your door and you are probably going to have to fight for your witchcraft. But the fight is not here with me and with other occultists, with other witches who are saying, no, we are standing up for human rights. That's not the fight, okay? Witchcraft is political. I put a pin in that. That is actually fact, okay? Because lots of people died in the name of witchcraft and being labelled as a witch. So claiming that moniker automatically aligns you with a group of people who are on the outside, on the fringe, in the liminal. You are already on that left. You are already there. And it doesn't matter how much you say, no, 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 I'm high vibe, my witchcraft isn't political, my occultism, my spirituality isn't political. It doesn't matter how much you say that and say, no, 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 because high vibe and I don't want to get messed up in all the miasma or whatever, riff on whatever you want to say vibration-wise. It doesn't matter how much you say that. It doesn't matter how much you say, oh, well, I'm actually right-wing and I believe that, you know, ICE should be doing this. Like, oh, except they've gone too far. So you're saying that you believe in it, but it's also wrong, but you still believe in it. It's great art. Come on, like, there are holes. There are holes in this. Hey, Cokes. There are holes in it, okay? I say this with respect, okay? I say it with the utmost respect. You do what you want to do. You're a witch, be a right-wing witch, but don't cry on the internet because other witches believe something different to you. Like, really? I think, don't be so surprised that people who are on the left actually care about other people on the left. Like, don't be surprised. And take a look, actually, at what you believe, because I really do think this. And Marco Visconti did a video recently addressing a few of these points related to a few other things. I will try and leave a few related videos below. But I agree that I think we are missing the point when we're like at each other's throats. And so I know, in a way, I'm throwing my hat in the ring again. I'm coming out. I'm saying these things, I'm saying what I'm saying, so maybe I'm adding fuel to the fire, I'm probably annoying some people, but that's not my intention. My intention is to say, look, let's look at this, really. Like, my intention is to just shed some light on it from my perspective, as one of those witches who is saying, no genocide, free Palestine, as one of those witches who is saying trans rights are human rights, you know, as one of those witches who is saying, I don't believe what's happening to people is right. I don't believe that this is okay. And I don't believe that this is how we should live in this world. As one of those witches, I do inherently care for people. I believe in human rights. I care about people. I care about everyone who is watching this. I am not trying to shame anyone or belittle anyone. I just really want to change the things that are happening in the world that are harming other people, okay? And I think that there are a lot of witches out there who feel that. Kellyanne talked about it, even if it's just down to the trees and, you know, saving the planet that we're on, okay? Because that's so inherently pagan, witchy. We live, we eat, sleep and breathe that, right? Like, I don't understand why it's such a strange thing to get your head around, and I just think you can't not expect other witches to come out and talk about it now as well. So I'm throwing my hat in the ring, and I'm not perfect. I don't say I'm perfect. I don't think I'm perfect. I make mistakes all the time, and I think as well, like, people realize things at different times. So maybe during this time you'll be able to see some of the ways that there are holes in your arguments, because it doesn't matter how much you say that you're right-wing and you believe all of these things. If you're a witch, at a certain point, they're going to come for you too, because this regime is taking people's power, rights and autonomy away from them, and it is going to strip us all of those things. I do believe that, and I believe that we're powerful if we actually stop fighting each other. I believe that we're more powerful if we can come together. But if you don't want to do that, don't be surprised that other witches do want to support other people. Don't be surprised about it. Don't be shocked about it. Human rights are important. Animal rights are important, obviously. Animals are so wonderful. Yes, my Coco is just here. So in my post, I say, please be damn sure what side your bread is buttered on. And that's to say that, do you really want to uphold a patriarchal system that is going to tear down things that are important to you and your loved ones, things that make your life, you know, livable, things that you need? Do you really want to uphold that system? So I will read this now. I said, on a more serious note, I'm noticing so many witches and magical folks are now coming out of the woodwork, proudly announcing their support for fascist, racist, homophobic, transphobic and terrorist regimes, and admitting to where even they see holes in the patriarchal system, but god damn it, they're still so adamant that they're right, and they're desperate for people to agree with them, and they're whining for attention on social media about it. But what I find surprising is that they actually seem shocked and incensed that witches would find witchcraft political, and that witches would fight for freedom for oppressed, marginalised and terrorised groups and communities. And this is the witchcraft being political part. Witchcraft is factually political. And it's why we see so much cultural, social, economic and yes, political weight within historical studies of the witch hunts in Western Europe. There's an amazing podcast I listened to recently by Mark Norman, Tabitha Stanmore and another author as well, and I'll link it below. I talked about it in one of my recent videos. It's really good. Like, there's a lot in there that is very political because it matters. And so when you adopt that title, that moniker of witch, you're taking that on board. You know, a lot of the people that died after being accused of being a witch weren't witches. You know, maybe some of them were doulas, or, you know, what we would think of as a doula or a midwife. Maybe some of them worked with herbs or home medicines, but I would say the vast majority of people were not practicing anything and were just normal people on the fringes, on the outside. And that's us, guys. Like, that's us. Witchcraft is factually political. It's why we see so much cultural, social, economic, and yes, political weight within historical studies of the witch hunt in Western Europe and in other parts of the world too. And let's not pretend that there aren't parts of the world where people are still punished for being believed to practice witchcraft, because that still happens. And yes, free speech, so you have a right to your witchcraft practice without politics if you so wish. But be damn sure which side your bread is buttered on. Are you really sure that you want to uphold the patriarchal system? Because if it keeps going this way, it doesn't matter how much you ignore it and claim it's miasma or some other riff on vibration or energy, or how much you insist that you're right-leaning and that you support the patriarchal ideas too. If you're a witch, they will come for you as well. Witches, open your eyes. There likely will come a time you will have to fight for your witchcraft. This, on the internet, with a bunch of witches and occultists, is not that fight. You are free to believe what you want, but I urge you to reconsider your beliefs if they are in direct contradiction to keeping innocent people safe, including the lives of the people you love. Think about it. Also, don't be surprised at the witches who are standing on business and supporting those marginalised, terrorised communities. Really think about it. And then I said blessings, witches, because that's truly what I wish you all. So thanks for joining me. I hope you made it to the end in one piece. Leave me a little moon emoji if you would. Yeah, thanks for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, hyping if you would as well. I would like to get this message just to as many people as possible, because I believe it's an important message. So thanks very much. Stay safe and well, and I will look forward to seeing you again in another video really soon. Take care, many blessings. Mwah. Bye.